This is the day. This is finally today. This is my first ever video for 2021. Finally, thank God, 2020 is over. So, anyways, I'm back right now. So this is gonna be my first ever video for 2021. So you be glad that I returned. You guys think that I had to hold on a second. Sorry for that. So you guys think that I'm not gonna get my channel gonna get a strike, right? From Susan Wojcicki. Well, anyways, you thought my channel's gonna get terminated, of course, by Susan Wojcicki. That it's not gonna be family friendly. Whether I cuss around from the last video when 2020 is over. Well, fair chance. This is why I have to start swearing in the course of one of my videos, because my video is gonna get age restricted. I don't care how Wojcicki is gonna, give me a strike through there to my channel. I don't even care about it. So, anyways, I'm back, and today we're doing something that's kind of different, of course. So that's something I have to do this. So let's do something, of course. Like, you might already understand how you see one of my previous videos, of course, over the past few years, because I already know that we have with this for that, because I know how my last video go through, because I was cussing, because I was frustrated. Like, I have so many bad years. But to this, I already know how I wanted to think how 2021 would be a good fit. Like, I already know how I see what's going on through. Like, there's other things, like there's some police brutality what's going through, since we know about the death between with George Floyd. And I know what's happening through what's going on, because everything seems like it's crazy on there. Like, they're already killing other black people. That's other thing. And we have a pandemic what's going on through. That's the other thing as well. And we know what's happening, that we have, like, anything what's going on through. I know it's just seemed like what's happening, like, we know it's crazy. Like, we have wildfires in California, and we have with giant hornets. And we know we have with a presidential debate between with Biden and Trump, because since Trump was actually, leaving the White House. But I heard there's an impeachment trial for him. And I heard on the news that he said that he was guilty or not guilty. But I already know how the police officer, Alan Corey, was not guilty. And I know it doesn't seem like it's not how I'm not impressed. So, anyways, welcome to 2021, and welcome to the first ever video for this year. This is actually the day. So, anyways, today, let's do something different. So, I had 3 things, of course, around to this video. So, there was something I had to do doing things around the video. The first thing I had to do is kind of do a movie review first. And then I had to do, like, an article, of course, from, actually, an article that's kind of good news. It's from a TV show. It's from a police school TV show. And you might understand, this is going to be good news, you guys. This one feel satisfying that it's finally over. And then the other thing, there was actually some terrible news, of course, was happening to the article. So, this is actually from a film studio we know is an animation studio that has been a subsidiary of 20th Century Fox. And this one, you might understand that you might have to understand what's going on through. So, get ready for this. Here's something I have to know about this. So, here's the 3 things I had to know about it from this video. So, this is going to be a long video. And I know one of my videos is too long. So, it's not like it's long enough. But this is actually, we have to show you 3 things. movie review, an article that's from a PBS Kids show, and it was canceled. And then we have an animation studio that was shut down. This is gonna be a hard time for this. So, the first thing, movie review. So, to this next movie review, I'm reviewing something that will be a new thing about what's going through. This one was being released on streaming that was actually last year. I saw that, of course, on Disney Plus. And before I had to talk about this, here's something I have to tell you about something I had to know. I'm not a huge fan of Disney. There you go. Yeah, there you go. You're pretty sure, of course. I already know you can see that I'm reacting to Wow Breaks the Internet. Did I react to it? I don't know. So, anyways, there's something you might understand, of course, that why I'm not a huge fan of Disney. If I had to make a video, so another video why I hate Disney, this is something you might know that you're gonna get shocked about this. So you might know I'm not a huge fan of Disney no more, guys. You might understand that why I'm not a huge fan of Disney, and you're pretty sure this is something you might understand. Of course, I found out like there was some theories what's going on, and it feels like I was shocked. And the other thing you might understand why I'm seeing, there's like something you might know that Disney's hindsight. So this is why I had to talk about this. That you might know the reason why I hate Disney. I might have to make another video of it soon. I'll see, because you might understand why I'm not a huge fan of Disney. Because I was a huge fan of Disney since when I was a kid, but since when I saw some articles, not like articles, like images when I saw, you might understand. I'll make another video of it soon, so you might understand what's going on. So, anyways, back onto this review. So, this review that I had to talk about this is a film I heard, and I know it's from Disney, and I know it's been streaming from Disney Plus. And the other thing I know, that this is actually a Pixar movie. A Pixar movie that this is why I know that this is actually directed by the director of Up and Inside Out. And I know he's the director of Monsters, Inc. This film I have to talk about is a film called Soul. Yep, I'm reacting to Soul right now. So, this is why I'm only interested that I picked Soul for it. So, instead of that, for Wild Breaks the Internet, I might have to review Soul for it. Because Wild Breaks the Internet, I don't even care about with Disney. So, I know this is actually, I know it's made by Pixar, but I was almost trying to hate Pixar for it, but since I know there's dark secrets, but even of course, I feel more okay for Pixar. Like, I know Pixar is a much better studio, because I know they do a lot of good work. It's just on how I'm seeing what's going through, so I see how it's going through with it, of course. And I know Disney do a lot of good work, but I know it's just something like, I know how I see Disney acquires Pixar, but anyways, I had to do the review. So, I know this is actually a Pixar movie, so that's anything. So, anyways, let's do this review. So, here's something I have to do. First thing is the story. Good word. So, the story tells... So, the story centers around with Joe, a middle school music teacher who's actually been there for an accident, who's actually lost his body, of course, since his whole soul came out. And the other thing what happens, of course, after he already fell down in the sewers, this is where he might know how he wanted to get his life back. And, well, so, hold on. Okay, sorry about what's going on through there. It's just my I had a speech disability, of course. So, so this film tells the story of a middle school music teacher who was actually living in New York City named Joe Gardner, who was actually doing his own career in jazz, of course. And what happens one day, he finally got the gig, and what's happened, of course, he already fell down the sewer, and this is where his whole soul came out to his body, and this is where he already fell down in the great before, and this is where he met a very usual cynical soul named 22. And when Joe's trying to know about 22 that Earth is actually a very usual life, of course, by being yourself, of course, where you want to be, and this is where your whole life between them, because she didn't want to go to Earth. She wants to be in her life, of course, in the great before, being more like Dim with his soul, of course, and that's something you might understand, of course, about how it happened, what sense for this. So, what happens when, hold on a second. So, what's already happened, of course, is that when these two fell down, of course, in the hole, of course, in the zone, I think. And what happens, of course, they swap bodies. So Joel is actually a feline cat, and 22. Sorry, but you can hear that. Sorry, but it's just my phone. I can tweet for it. 22 is actually Joe Gardner. So this is where we know, of course, when they separate their bodies, of course, and this is where Joe returns to Earth, and this is where the cat actually returns to his hole, and this is where Joe wanted to express his life, of course, since he already do the jazz gig, and this is where he comes back through the great before. He returns to the great before, and this is where what's gonna happen, that he wanted to enjoy his life, of course. Well, not enjoy his life. What happens when he's back at the great before? 22 is now lost soul. What happens when Joel's trying to confront her, and this is where what happens, that 22 is no longer a lost soul, and this is what's gonna happen is this. She found the final step, of course, to her badge, and she actually, returned her badge, and then 22's finally enter into Earth. And then what happens, of course, Joel is actually kind of going to go into the great beyond, and this is where what happened is that Jerry is actually giving Joel for another chance to give him every moment to his life. He actually knows about his life, of course, to give him every moment of his eternal life, of course, to his own life through there. After the afterlife, and then his own life, of course, through every moment to his whole life. Oh man, this is getting too hard with that to the premise. So, yeah. So, this is actually a great film. I kind of adore for it. This is actually how I already enjoy with it. Like, I know Pixar already did a lot of good work what they did, and I never noticed they made a better film how they know how they feature. So, this is actually much better what I'm seeing. Like, I see how this film is actually a much better fit with what's going through. So, I know about what the premise. Since the premise is done, I have to talk about the cast. So, Jamie Foxx, who plays Joe Gardner, did an excellent job, of course. And I know that Joe Gardner is actually based off around to Jamie Foxx, who is actually interested into music. It's actually the same thing how I know. both of the characters and the actor, it's the same thing, of course, to their whole not perspective, like their whole thing, of course, what they're interested in. And I know that Tina Fey, who's actually the voice of Roxanne from Megamind, did an excellent job playing 22. And the thing I know about with the ending, like, well, the ending I know is that, this is where I'm seeing what's going through the ending. So, there was, like, the ending, it starts to do with 22, that since 22 is a soul trapped, of course, in the Great Before. And I know at the ending that she's finally ready to be entering to Earth. And the thing what's going on through with it is that where 22 landing to. And I know she landed to Asia. She wasn't landing to America. She wasn't even like she wasn't even like she's hold on a second. I don't think you might know. I already see why people got theories through with 22 is like people are knowing who's 22 is. Like they pretty sure don't know. Like 22 is not even like it's Joe's daughter, and even of course 22 is not like for the other Pixar female or male characters. She already went into Asia. So I have to make another video of this. I found out who 22 is. So if you're pretty sure, I might have to do this. And I know Rachel House playing as Terry, and I think she was actually the voice of that grandmother from Moana. Did an excellent job. I already know how she did, but the voice I'm hearing, it seems like while I'm hearing something what's going through. I already know anything what's going through. It's just why I know what the voice actually seems so familiar through. Like, not only goes through. And even of course, I see how the other cast, what they did an extra job for it. They did an extra job for it. The cast did wonderful. Everything did wonderful. So, the thing I know about with this film that, it seemed like how I heard about the writing was great. It knows about what's going through to a human's life between them when this is where they were born. This is where what happens when they're actually a child. Well, like as an infant, a toddler, a child, a preteen, a teen, an adult, a mature adult, and even of course an elderly adult. What happens through death that they have to go to the afterlife. That's the other thing what's going through the afterlife. That's where I know they're going to the great beyond. Everything did well actually. Everything looks amazing with that with the writing. It's speaking of the writing, this is what I know about what Pixar was going through, of course, to Black History Month. That this is actually Pixar's first feature film that features a black protagonist. Because I know Disney had with a black protagonist with the Princess and the Frog. And I know they have with DreamWorks Animation have with Home that features Rihanna playing Gratuity Tushi, which is known as Tib. And I know she's the first African American human character from DreamWorks Animation. But now this is actually Pixar's first film that features an African American protagonist. So this is actually good. Because I know how of course, like, I am black. I already know I'm actually black, of course, because I know I'm African American. Because every black man, we already know how we already do to our whole life, of course. Like, this is how we know, of course, to our whole life around since. We know about something to talk about our race. We know about how we think, because I already got a haircut, because, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's cut. It looks like it's growing, because my dad just like cut it, because it looks good, but it doesn't look like it's good enough. When it grows, it has to be cut again, because every black man, we already know how we have to go to the barbershop until we have to get our haircut. But yeah, sure. But anything, it's just so that I know how we need it. Like, we already need to get a mohawk, of course, and we know how it needs to be cutting through with a straight line. And I know every black man, we already have dreads, of course. that's the other thing. That's how we are getting that for getting a haircut. And the other thing we know about it is that it's just how I'm thinking about it that we already knows about it to our race, because we already see there was something what's going on through like craziness what's going on, because I see like there was policemen what's going on, like we were look like we were swallowed, but me well I wasn't even swallowed, but that didn't even happen. But it's talk about with the police brutality. It's just where we know how we think what's happening through, and I already know like every black citizen actually seem like they look like it's actually the police, and they already know like every police who was actually being racist around. That's how we're fighting our rights, and that's the other thing. How we kind of protesting that Black Lives Matter. That's the other thing. And we know about it, of course, to the Black History Month, about how black people did what we did, something we know the event. Because I already see how there's like some black artists around there. I know some of them. Like, I didn't even know one of the artists, of course, because I know some of them. There was anything I know, like, some of them before. Like, I know there's Snoop Dogg around there. And I know that I think about it, of course. And the other artist I know who like draws is Floyd Norman. And I know he was the first African American animator from the Walt Disney Studios. But it's just how I know that I know how there's some black animators, of course. Like, I see one of their work because I see how they did well. But to me, anything I know, they did a lot of good work around. Like, I heard Peter Ramsey is actually the animator, and I know he's the director of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Rise of the Guardians. Everything I think, he was amazing. Everything I only think about how we know about, of course. That's the other thing. Because every time we know about ourselves, of course, that we're fighting our rights, of course. Like, our race, it's just not how we think. How we had to do this, of course, to end the police brutality before. That's the other thing, how we think. And that's how we know how we inspired through. And this is how it's actually a whole new change. And I know, well, Ian joined Corti. And I know he's doing that when he produced Steven Universe and the creator of OKKO, Let's Be Heroes. He works on Cartoon Network. Amazing. Really amazing. That's sort of like that, of course, like that for every season. Every season, of course, for a race. So I already know it's Black History Month. I know this is actually, I had to talk about this, because this is actually because this is actually how Pixar made the first black protagonist, of course, for a feature film. So that's the other thing. Soul was actually the first that features a black protagonist. That's just something I think. And speaking of the black animators, the final thing I had to do with this film, well, the final thing I had to do this review is the animation. And I know this is actually Pixar, because I know they make computer animated feature films over the past few years since. So, oh my eyes. I know this is actually how I'm seeing what Pixar's work they're already doing. Like, the animators did an extra job of the animation. Like, the thing I know about it, this is actually, I think that this is actually the same guy who's actually the director of is Pete Docter. And I know it's actually Pixar's first black protagonist in a feature film. Because they never made a feature film that shows a black protagonist, but they finally did. So, this is just very amazing. Like, I never knew they made a black protagonist character in a Pixar movie. So, this is actually the first time. So, I know this is actually what I'm seeing. Like, the thing I know about it is actually the color skin. Because I am black, but it's just where you might see the skin color looks kind of different. Like, you might know why it looks light. Because I had this lamp over here, of course, because I had to give it some light, of course. Let me just turn it off. You can see it's dark. I already know, like, everything I see, it's like the skin color itself, like, it's just where I know how every skin color, we always see how it looks like it's light, or it gets like it's dark. It's just something you might understand, because that's what we know. Like, first we see that there's Caucasian, because they kind of have brighter light skin, but then this is where it changes, where, not like it's changing, like, this is where I know another person is like, we see like there's like, Latino, of course, like, I already know it's like a very usual, man, my, hold on a second, I keep having a speech disorder, I'm having this problem, hold on. Sorry about that, I just had no idea what's with my speech disorder. So, let's start over again. So, the first thing we have, like, this skin color tone, what's going on with that? Like, there's like vanilla. It's not like it's sweet, but it's just like the first thing. Like, there's like, well, there's like Caucasian, of course. It's just actually vanilla is actually Caucasian. Then the other one, it's actually for Latino, is well, it's beige, I think. I think it's beige, because it's just where we know that I'm black, but it's just where we know about what's going through to the skin color, of course, since Pixar is actually making something, of course, to the skin color like that to the human characters, because that's actually a work of art. Because first, Caucasian's vanilla and beige, of course, beige. Man, it's like too hard. It's beige, of course, for Latino. Sorry about that. I have this problem. I don't know what is wrong with speech disorder, so I'll try my best for it. I have to think. So we have like almond. And almond, it's actually, the other thing is light skin. It's, of course, which is light skin is like a, like, light skin's actually like part, of course. Well, light skin's actually part of it, of course. Hold on, I had no idea what's going on. So, hold on a second. So, almond is actually like, it's the skin tone to light skin black people, of course, because it's just where we know. Because I already know there's like several black citizens that they feel like they're light skin. It's just where we know that that's actually the thing. And we had golden, but it's not like it's a color. It's actually golden. Like, you see that the skin color, of course, to mine, it's not golden, but it's actually part of the skin color, of course, because that's actually why I already look like that, of course, because I'm actually a black citizen. That's just the other thing, of course, to it. Like, we know that, like, we have something, like, we already know, like, we see, like, some white citizens, we have Latino citizens, and we have, like, Asian citizens, and ourselves, we're actually black citizens. That's the other thing we know, because it's actually the skin color tone with it, because that's actually Pixar. That's actually their idea how they can make a film that's talk about black protagonists. So, that's actually what we know. Like, everything we know, it's like the skin color tone with it. They're trying to think how we can make the skin look more darker. Like, it's trying to get more, like, a bully, because it's trying to make more a bully, of course. Like, that's actually what they're trying to make it. It's like a work of art. I did that like from art class. And so there's like mocha. It's just another thing with skin color tone with that to black senses as well too. And finally toffee. Not that it's just like its color or excuse me. Not even like its color or its food or its actually anything, nothing like that. It's actually the skin color tone. That's just the other thing. We know it's like our race. We know like everything. Like we already have like anything around to America. Because first, we're the first one in America. First, of course, ourselves, of course. Because I know history starts off a lot since. Because we were slaves, and then this is where we know that we were free, and that's actually the other thing that. We're the first one in America as calling ourselves, as the African American citizens. Because I know there were some white citizens. Just ignore it, of course. My bad. It's just my sound effect app, of course. So, let me just turn on the winger. It's just my winger, of course, on my phone. So, anyways, we have like, so, we were actually free, but we were the first ones in, because the white citizens actually treat us badly, of course, since we were free, but we were free. That's the other thing, because we're black citizens, and then the other thing, we have like Latino citizens. That's actually we know. Because there was a country is Mexico. That's actually we know. And there's like other countries for Latino, like Portuguese, Brazil, and Puerto Rico. Everything we know. Because one of my ancestors is Portuguese. Yeah, one of my ancestors is Portuguese. So, then we already know there's like Asian citizens, of course, in America. That's something we think, of course, we already know, of course, anything through, because I already know that the government already knows about the law. It's not the law, it's actually when we know we have new citizens. New citizens, of course, to other races. Well, other races. That's just something we know, like, we already think. Everything we know, it's just something we think. But I already know, like, some white citizens already treat us badly. They already treat to the Latinos, they already treat to the Asian, and they treat us, of course. Everything we think. And we know that we have Somalian citizens. We already think, of course. I already know, like, we already think we have Somalian citizens, so everything we think, it's just where the future already predicts it. We have other races, of course, in America, because that's what we think. Like, first we have white, there's black, there's Latino, there's actually Asian, and there's Somalian. Other races. Everything we know about other races. We already think of it. Everything we know. So, that's the other thing we already think. We're already thinking until. So, anyways, with that, let's get back to the review. Let's get back to the review for now on. It's like only taking a long time. So, I already see how with Pixar's already going through with it, because they did a fantastic job with the animation. So, the animation, it looked wonderful. Like, if you only see how the animation is going through, it's going to the principles of animation through it with a scotch and stretch view into it, to the souls, and even, of course, the humans. Well, not humans' personality. Hold on. That's a very usual thing, of course. Like, a human's personality, it's just a modern day, and we already know their souls, and they feel more scotch and stretch, everything we know. And the other thing I know, of course, like, I already know there's, like, something I think, because the film, I know what Disney's doing is that, this is actually what I'm seeing, that the thing I know what's going through with this, because I have to talk about it with this review, is that this is actually Disney's, problem through. Like, I already know back in the day before, like, there's, like, a long, painful history between one of their IPs, like, one thing it seems like I'm kind of disappointed with Disney that it's trying to make a design that feel more like it's racist. Like, I don't like how it's going to be more racist around to us, to our race, because it's marking around to our colors, our skin. That's just what I'm not liking how Disney is mocking us. Because that's just something how Disney is having a problem. And I think this is actually how we don't like about how Disney is trying, because Disney's trying to be more sexist, Disney's trying to be more racist. That's just something how I'm not into like anything to do with it with Disney. I know it's just like anything to do, but there's more other things. I have to make another video of this that had to do with why I don't like Disney. So you might understand this. So the animation looks fantastic. Like, I know it's talked about what Pixar was going through, like, instead of toys, instead of cars, instead of emotions, instead of, instead of, bugs or monsters, or even, instead of skeletons, it's talked about it with a soul that kindly appears through. And we know about it with that to a soul between. And this is actually the thing how we're talking about it, that it's talked about with a black man's life. And this is where he dies from the sewer. And this is where his soul came out. And that's the other thing. It's actually where the afterlife starts. Good days we know. I know about how we talk about death. I know it's talk about how we see other people die. I see some of other famous people who actually passed away. I know Larry King died. I know Stanley died. I know, some of the other celebrities I heard, some of them died. I heard they passed away. And I kind of know I heard some of them. Because, I heard that the voice of Minnie Mouse passed away, and I know June Forey, the voice of Waki from Waki Boinko, who actually died. And I know finally the other thing who actually died, of course, is Chadwick Boseman. And I know he was diagnosed with colon cancer, and I heard he died. He was an amazing actor who actually plays Black Panther. I already know. I saw Black Panther since 2018. It's been 4 years ago. Everything is 4 years ago. I see how it was an amazing film. But now, too bad I heard that Black Panther 2 is in development. It's not like it's in development. It was scrapped. It was canceled. It's just not how it's going too well. Because it seems like how I know the animation way it describes it through a human and a soul. It's just where I know what a soul actually looks. I already know there's some ghost videos. I see there's several ghost videos. The ghosts themselves were souls. And that's where their souls, what I'm seeing, that this is actually what's going through, that this is why I'm seeing it. This is where humans passed. And this is where their whole soul came out. And I know, some of them who's actually a Christian, some of them who's actually an atheist. It's talk about, a Christian in between. I know I heard about with anything. I watched The Prince of Egypt. That's why I know DreamWorks Animation is going through. Jeffrey Kasberg, the CEO of DreamWorks, and the co-founder of DreamWorks, and the chairman of Disney. And I know he's actually the CEO of Quibi. And I know this is actually what he's talking about, that it's talked about with the story of Moses. And I know it's talked about slavery. And that's actually what I know with history it's going through. That's actually what I heard by that this is actually we think. The story, of course, of Moses. And we know about how he freed the slaves, of course. And that's where we know about Judaism. And we know about what's going through with the Bible. That's what we know about how we talk about Christianity, and we know about praise the Lord God. That's actually when we know that this is the other thing we had to talk about. Because I know this is actually soul, but I know it's not about what's going through about a personality between, but it's just what I think. But the one thing I'm not, I mentioned that to Disney is that I know Jeffrey Kasberg has been going on with Disney since he kindly requested to Michael Eisner, and he knows about it with a feature film about the 10 Commandments of the Prince of Egypt, but Michael Eisner he denied the project. But it's just seemed like Disney doesn't feel like it's not Christianity. But if it was Christianity between, that's actually why I know what's going through. That we had to think what's going through about it, and this is talking about the life between. But it's just where I don't like what's going through with it, but at least DreamWorks actually knows about it with Christianity. Because to me, you might have to see this. I got this necklace before, like years ago when I was young, and my mom bought it to me. This is why I'm actually a Christian, and I already got the Bible, because this is what Mom bought me with the Bible. So let's just talk about how I think, because the thing I know about the Bible is that my soul cleaveth my soul cleaveth unto the dust, quicken door me according to the word. I have declared my praise, and who hears me, teach my these statutes, make me to understand the way of my my eyes, the way of my precepts. So I shall talk to my talk to of these wondrous works. My eyes. So this is talk about how I know what soul was actually explained, of course. So that's what I know with soul what's going through. And the thing I know, it's like when soul was talking about with the afterlife, and it's talking about with human's life, this is talking about how we know. Like, when you die, do you want to go to heaven or you want to go to hell? That's just something how I have to talk about it. So that's the other thing. So that's my review of Soul. So I already wanted to give some, like, the story. The story was fantastic. I give it like a 9 out of 10. Well, not like a 9 out of 10. Like, I already know it's just what I'm thinking, but I know it's very PG, so I give it a 9 out of 10. It looks good. I already want to give, like, the characters, of course, and even, of course, the acting, a 10 out of 10. And I already wanted to give, like, to the writing. This is actually, like a 9 out of 10. Sort of like that. It looks kind of cool. A 9 out of 10. It looks amazing. And even finally, the animation is actually, well, a 10 out of 10. A human's personality, no scratch and stretch. And even, of course, it knows about through a whole life between with a human's life like that. No scratch and stretch. Doesn't seem no cartoony. And even in the afterlife through the Great Before and the Great the Great Before, that's actually more cartoony between the Scratch and Stretch with the souls. That looks amazing, so I give it a 10 out of 10. And I have to give Soul 5 out of 5 stars, a 10 out of 10. Great movie. Great motion picture success. That's why critics got positive reviews. So Soul, have you seen it? Make sure to comment below. I hope you can want to go see that film on Disney Plus. Not in theaters, watch on Disney Plus. It looks fantastic. Go watch Soul. It looks amazing. It looks fantastic how I'm seeing it. It looks amazing how I talk about this. I like how it features a black protagonist. Everything looks amazing. And I already know it predicts the future. We already know. White, black, Latino, Asian, and even of course Somalian. Everything we know, it's talking about to our. It's even of course we already know we're talking about to our race, of course, because we're black. Everything. Go see Soul. It looks fantastic how I see a black protagonist. Go watch it. It looks fantastic. I'm finally finished with this review with it for Soul. It looks fantastic. Yep. Since I got with the movie review with Soul, Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay, since I got with the Soul movie review, what's next? Let's do the next one start. Okay, so this is what I have to know about what's going through, because since I got finished with Soul. So, I know about what's already happening, because I know this is actually the future already predicts. Like, I know what's already Soul, what's going between them. Like, there's white people first, we have black people, because I'm a black citizen, and we have with Latino people, of course, and we have with Asian people, and we have Somalian people. Everything it's already know about it that protects the future, of course, since America's have been gone since, because I know Soul is actually good. So, anyways, I already finished with the movie review of Soul. So, the next one I have to start doing, of course, that let's do something different. Like, there's something I know with anything, what's going through. So, the future, what's happening through that the entertainment industry, what's going on. So, there's like an article what's happening. So, a lot of people were knowing about it with this preschool children's show, and it's talking about how we see like a little boy with no hair, and he's acting too whiny and being like a spoiled brat, and we glad that the show was canceled, because I heard it was aired on PBS Kids. I watched that show when I was a kid, but since I'm older right now, I'm finally glad the show's finally over right now. So there's something I have to understand. There's good news what's happening. So, the good news what's happening, of course, that there's good news. So, I have to talk about this. So, there's good news I have to talk about this. So, get ready for this, you guys. So, today, I'm talking about with a PBS Kids show that's been canceled over the past few years. And it's actually a preschool children's show called Caillou! Yes! Caillou is finally canceled! Oh, thank God! So, I had to talk about what's something I had to know what's going on with Caillou. So, there's something I have to tell you guys about what I have to talk about with Caillou. So, I heard that the show was canceled because I already know the final episode they aired on 2010. But people keep knowing that they didn't know it was canceled, but I'm getting confused, like, it was canceled earlier. Like, why people keep thinking Caillou's still airing? So, the thing what's going on through is that, when Caillou was aired, of course, like, from the 80s, because I think it aired from the 80s, so I'm pretty sure. Because I know how I think what's going through with, Caillou, because you might understand why I have to talk about this. Wait, it's not actually the 80s, hold on. No, it aired in the 90s. It's not the 80s, it's actually the 90s. So, the show aired in 1997. So, the thing I wanted to talk about with Caillou is that, there's actually good news. So, Caillou is finally canceled. So, there's like a lot of parents that they've been tired with that spoiled by itself. Like, I know there's something I have to talk about with Caillou. Like, I heard there was some good news about how the show is canceled. So the thing what's going on that why the show canceled. So there's something I know there's an article I see, so I have to read this. So in a statement, a spoken person says that Caillou was retired as part of our ongoing efforts to this is like getting too tricky. So, anyways, so sorry about that. It's just my mother. I know, tomorrow's President's Day on Monday, so no school. Anyways, Caillou was actually as a spoken person says that Caillou was actually retiring. So, as part of our ongoing effort to continuously refresh our offerings to meet the needs of today's kids. So that means like Caillou is actually older right now. He's not actually real. He's not real. He's actually from a children's book. But it just shows him that originally he was a baby. But they made himself as a 4-year-old as a toddler. So they made him bald. So the thing I know about what's going on to Caillou is that Caillou is actually knows about that he's being more like a spoiled brat. Because parents were getting tired of that kid. Like, he's even worse like that character from Star Wars. It's just something I know that on the film, not the film, like the show, like I see how a lot of people were thinking that the show is actually even much worse. Because I know people hate Dora, and they're knowing that there was actually a Dora movie. But thank God Caillou was canceled. But the thing I know about it is that I don't know what's with anything what's going through, because Caillou, it's actually canceled right now. I'm finally glad it's over, because parents were tired of that spoiled brat kid. Guys, you see how the way you might know how Caillou think. So the another thing you might have to see is that I have to show you that there are some very usual parts how Caillou is acting to disobedient. So here's something I have to show you this. Wow, he's actually pinching his baby sister Rosie. So here's the footage. Sorry you don't see it bright. It's just a wrap. So I'll do it a second time. So here's the footage. And the other thing, how you think that Caillou is being like a spoiled brat, of course. So here's some clips. So here it goes.
Tallest tower in the whole world. Whoa. This was the tallest tower Caillou had ever made.
Don't do that, Rosie! Beep, 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 beep. You broke my room! Oh, toys! Rosie! Rosie, give me those! Stop bothering me.
Maybe she just wants to play with you.
But I don't want to play with her.
Caillou, I'm busy and I can't be solving your problems all the time.
But, Mommy!
You and Rosie have to learn how to work out your own problems.
No, we can't.
Caillou?
Caillou was happy reading his book all by himself without Rosie bothering him.
Go away, Rosie. Go out of my room. No, 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 no. Stay out. Go away.
Oh my gosh.
Books are for reading, not for hitting.
Go away.
Caillou, did you make Rosie cry?
No.
This is the reason why parents hate the show that much. Man, this is why it's a problem. It's the main title character. I just had no idea how am I supposed to do this life. But we think the show is gone. I already know how everything is fine. Like, everything is going fine right now. But the thing I know about with the show itself, like, there were some goddamn videos of Caillou from Go Anime, but originally it was Go Anime, but they changed it to Void. So, one of the people making some Caillou Get Grounded videos. So, I see how they're going through with it, because I know that Caillou is, it's just how we know that he's being like a disobedient and a spoiled brat, balding kid. Guys, the looks of him, I already see that design he represents him as Charlie Brown. But by the looks of him, he looks bald, but he's not actually bald. You can see that he has hair, because he looks exactly like a bald person. But he's not actually bald. He's actually, he's actually a hairy boy. That's just you might think. You don't see the differences. I already know he had a little bit of hair from the comic strips, but it's just not how a lot of people don't know why does he look bald. That's the other thing. But the thing I know about it, it's that why I'm seeing it like this, it's just where the thing how Caillou's being more like a spoiled brat. We already see that people were getting tired of the show. They wanted to be canceled, because I know the people we heard by it is that they kind of got negative reviews of the show, and they put a petition that it will be off of the air. But even the correspondent we heard by Caillou was actually canceled. So it's been several years right now. But at least, good news, it's finally over with that bald-headed kid. So, from now on, we know what's happening through this whole entire future. Like, the future is, it's finally happening. So, good news, we have no Caillou, we have something we know, because I know the future is going on through. Like, I heard, Toys R Us is actually shutting down, and, I know that, Futurama is actually gone, and, I think I know about with the, other show. Because I heard Adventure Time was aired on 2010, but now it ended on 2018. But it's not over. There's TV specials and mini-series of them on HBO Max. And the other thing I know, it's something like heard, is Blockbuster. Because I already know Blockbuster's been shut down. But, and even of course, the final thing what's happening is that Caillou was canceled. So, that's it. Like, Caillou was canceled. And I know little kids were sad that the show is actually gone. And I know it's actually gone for good. But the parents, they're tired with that with the show. That's the thing. And the other thing we know about what's going through with that is that Caillou is actually being more disobedient. And this is the reason why I know that he's being more hard-headed. Like, I know it's like him, he's a 4-year-old boy, but I already know how he's being more selfish. But it's just where he's acting too whiny. It's just where we know the problem. We know about what's going through. But the problem I know that it just seemed like when I know, like, the good news, the show's canceled. But I know there's bad news. Like, the thing I heard about was some bad news is actually, like, no. And something I know about the bad news, it's a comment when Caillou was canceled, or is this something like we have a new Caillou, which is actually the Boss Baby? Because I know people got negative reviews of the Boss Baby. Because I see the first one starts off with 7-year-old Tim, and I know he's acting more selfish, and I know he's acting more whiny. Guys, he's actually another clone of Caillou. Not like another clone. He's actually like, well, he's the brother of Caillou. And that seems like Caillou all over again. Like, I know Caillou is actually not the best show, but I'm finally glad it's canceled right now. But the thing I know, we already know we have Boss Baby right now. Because I know it's a good movie. I saw the movie. It was great. Like, the franchise is great. But the people I heard that they hated it. But I know it doesn't seem like they don't get the jokes. I know it doesn't seem like it's better. Like, it got a lot, like, some mixed reviews. Some don't hate it, some don't love it. Because there was, like, something you might understand why I said mixed reviews. That's actually the film critics. Because it seemed like a lot of people were not interested into it. Like, people were annoyed by it. It's that it's just seemed like what we know what's happening. Because I know Final Guy Caillou was canceled. But the thing what I heard about with it, it's that Boss Baby, it's actually like the next Caillou, of course, all over again. Guys, this is actually we know, like Caillou had a chance of meatballs, and we have Food Fight, and Food Fight's actually Caillou had a chance of meatballs all over again. But it's just where we know it's we had Caillou, we have the Bossy, and the Bossy is actually Caillou all over again. And I know it's like the problem is Tim, he's whiny, he's hard-headed, he's more selfish and disobedient. It's just something I know what's going through with him that we have the problem. I know Caillou is like he's more like he's a nice kid, and I know Tim's actually more like a nice kid as well too. That's the important thing. But the way these two kids, of course, they're actually the same character. Like, I see when Wozy was born, and I see Caillou pitch Wozy in the cheek very hard, and that's actually disturbing, of course, to viewers. And then what I see above in the book version, Caillou just bit no Wozy. And that's the reason why people hate the book, and even, of course, the show. And to Tim himself, he's more jealous, because I know Caillou was jealous, but the thing I know about him is that he doesn't care about the baby. He does care about his parents himself. Because I know the baby is actually named Ted Jr., because I know at the end his name is Theodore Lindsay Templeton Jr., because I know he's Ted Jr. right now. Because I know that the thing I know is that Tim is acting too whiny, of course, himself. And I know it's just like I see what's going through. It's that we see there were some problems. Like, I know what I see what's going on. It's that it just seemed like that Tim, of course, the thing I see what's going on is that he's playing too rough around to the infant kids. Because the thing I see that there's some destructive what's going on through, and that scene's getting too much. And I see like what's going on that it's that Tim is trying to launch Ted Jr. out the window from the road. And that shocks viewers, of course, in movie theaters. And that's the reason why Boss Baby is one of the worst films, since it doesn't deserve an award. And I know, I do love the film. It looks fantastic. But I don't like how there are some scenes that it shows that this is where there was some very, very violent scenes of what I'm saw and what's going through. I don't like what's going through with it. But the thing is, good news, Caillou was canceled. It's finally over. That's the other thing that parents can relax their stuff, and we'll see how kids might have to move on to other stuff that parents might have to understand what new show they're going to watch, and it's how it might, well, stop the whole whiny thing and stop the whole hard-headed thing and stop with the disobedient thing, what kids were actually act like that from that show. We're all going to tell the best thing that we'll see what's going to happen until the kids are actually being more obedient, and until we're going to see what's going on to PBS Kids. So we're hoping to do the best thing for that for this whole entire feature. So wherever we can see. Okay, I got last of the water. Alright, since I got Soul, of course, since I got with Caillou, today it's going to be our final stop for that for the video. So, the question I have to talk about this is that, this is what I had to know about it with this. So, today, this is going to be our final step with that for the video until the video ends. So, we have to talk about what's going on through the whole entire future, that what's happening through to this whole problem with the film industry and the entertainment industry. So, I know this is where I know what the future is going to happen, of course. Like, I know it's just seemed like we already got Caillou, because since it's canceled right now, we already know that we have this Toys R Us is getting shut down. And the other thing we think about what's happening. So, I already see what DreamWorks is already up to something. Like, I know it seems like what's happening. And the other thing I know, of course, that we see how anything what's happening due to the whole problem. Like, I already know there's PDI, and I know it was shutting down because of the box office bomb to Mr. P. and Sherman and Penguins of Madagascar, because both films were actually too clever to the family audience that the jokes were actually saying that the kids don't get it. And it's too much sophisticated, of course, that Mr. Peabody's getting too sophisticated, that it was getting too clever. Everything's too clever. And then the audiences, they were angry, of course, to DreamWorks that they have Boss Baby. But I know what's happening to the future. Like, I know NBC Universal bought DreamWorks for $3.8 billion back in 2016. And I know DreamWorks is now part of Comcast, because I know they scrapped one of their good IPs. Like, I know they got Monkeys and Moonbot, they got Larrikins, they got Me and My Shadow, and I know they got with Zodiac, Alma, Biko, and Boo, Bureau of Other Operations. That's just so that I know what's happening to the future. So the future, I know, it's just where we think. Like, we have NBC Universal, got DreamWorks, and we know we have, we have with Caillou getting canceled, we got Torsos getting, shutting down. But it's just where the real world, what's happening, that we have something to course. Like, we know it's a disaster, and there's chaos around there. Like, we have a pandemic around there, and we have, like, that with protesters around because of the death of George Floyd, since this is how we might end police brutality. And we know we have like giant horns, and we know we have like wildfires in California. But the other thing we know, we already see that some of the people think that robots don't exist, but they actually do exist right now because we had technology right now. Because I'm using a Chromebook right now since I'm filming it, that I have to talk about 3 things about what's going on through. So I already have a Soul, I already got Caillou, and the other thing is going to be the final thing that I have to talk about this. So this is what I have to know. The future, it's happening a lot, because we know it's just like in the real world, we have a pandemic. But then we know about with the film industry that this is how I know what's going through with it, that the other thing we had to talk about this, and that's what's going on with Disney. And Disney has something we know. Like, last time, they released with Soul, and they had with another anime feature, what's called Warrior and the Last Dragon. And that's the other thing we have to talk. And I know Netflix was inquiring Sony Pictures Animation that they might release one of their movies to be on streaming on Netflix. Like, I know they got with 2 projects they have. Like, I heard there's going to be a film about a dragon with a boy, which is Witch Dragon. I know there's actually a family destroying robots, is The Mitchells versus the Machines, but originally it was supposed to be called Connected. Because it's like the same thing. Like, I know, like, we have The Mitchells versus the Machines, we have Connected, then it bumps back the original title, the Mitchells versus the Machines. And it's just where we know what's happening. And I know Sony Pictures Animation got with 3 of their adult-oriented anime projects they have. 2 Jenny Tarkovsky projects were Fixed and Black Knight. And the other one is actually a film that was actually co-produced by Point Grey, which is actually the same guys who brought you the R-rated CGI animated film Sausage Party. So, the thing we have to talk about what's going on through the film industry, that we have to talk about with Disney. And yeah, we know, of course, like, I know DreamWorks canceled Larrikins, and I know they have Trolls 2 and The Boss Baby 2, because since they kind of changed the title to Trolls Tour and The Boss Baby Family Business. But what's going on to Disney is that we know this is actually what's going on through, and I know it's just like, they actually bought Fox, of course, and now Fox is now part of Disney. Because I know we have with Family Guy, The Simpsons, Deadpool, and even, of course, we have with, I think it's 911, and now they're actually part of Disney. But then this is where we know what's going through, and we know it's something what's crazy, and people were shocked about this, that what's going on to this and to the film industry, and that's why we have to talk about this. So there's going to be an animation studio we know. It's a very sure we know. Like, we know Warner Animation Group, Paramount Animation, DreamWorks Animation, Illumination, Walt Disney Animation Studios, Pixar, and even of course we have is not Ari Artman and Leica Studios. But we know about animation studios itself, and we know it's just like we know what's going through, what's happening to the future, and yeah, this is probably no. And this is going to be like and there's going to be an animation studio called. Hold on a second. It's called. Man, the phone's getting too bright on there. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry, it's getting too bright. So, there's going to be an animation studio. It's called, well, hold on a second. Sorry about my video. It's getting too bright around to there, because, not the video, it's the light. It's getting too bright. I keep having video bloopers around, and this is actually the problem itself. So there's going to be an animation studio. It's called Blue Sky Studios. And the important thing is, what's going on to Blue Sky Studios? Well, exactly. Nothing. Blue Sky Studios. There's absolutely nothing. Why I said that? The whole studio is shutting down. Yup, the whole studio is shutting down. Blue Sky Studios is dead. Right now. So, you might understand about it, because this is going to be my final time about with this. That's going to be part of the video. So, you might understand about what Blue Sky Studios is shutting down. So, it's that bankruptcy noise about what's happening. So, I heard that what's going on in the news. Like, the news I heard that on Twitter, I checked on Animat, which is Electric Dragon 505, which is Animat. He posted that link on Deadline, and he heard about that Disney announced that they're shutting down Blue Sky. And you're pretty sure what Blue Sky Studios is. Those are the same guys who bought us Ice Age, Robots, Horton Hears a Who, Rio, and even of course the Peanuts movie and Ferdinand and Spice in Disguise. The other thing I have to know is that you might understand about how it was shutting down. Like, you might understand that what's happening. So why is it shutting down? So the thing I have to talk about this, that you might understand what's happening. So what's happening to the studio? Well, here's something. The animation house, it's responsible about what's happening through, that was according to the Deadline. So what's happening, that the reason that the studio is shutting down because of the pandemic. Like, the economic realities, what's happening through it, that they're losing a ton of money. Because the problem what's happening with bankruptcy noise is because of the pandemic. Because the pandemic, the deadly pandemic itself, like, there was like some other companies that were shutting down, because I heard that Blue Sky Studios is now shutting down because of the pandemic. It is not going too well. It's becoming a whole entire disaster. We heard that all around in the news that it's shutting down. The pandemic actually had that caused it. Because I know it's just like, I made a video a while back ago because it was China's fault, but I already know they apologized. But it's just where I know the pandemic, it's even worse. But the good thing is, we got the vaccine, people are getting vaccinated, we know it's happened a lot since, because this happened a long time to our school, because the thing that's happening to us that we're not wearing our face masks, because the mask we have with it was feeling uncomfortable. But I'm not actually a Karen. I know we should wear a face mask. I know it's protecting us with this pandemic. Like, it's actually a problem. Like, I already see some people were feeling uncomfortable with these face masks. But we were shocked that one of us is exposed. And that's why we were in quarantine that we had to be on school online. But I'm not caring. It's just where the mask is feeling uncomfortable. Because I know we take our mask off a while at lunch. But I know it's protecting us. It's just where we know. Because I don't want to catch this pandemic. Like, that's why I was wearing the mask. And that's the important thing. Like, I was wearing my mask. And that's where the thing I had to talk about this is that the mask, I know, it's that this is where I had to talk about this. Like, I know, I'm not mad. Like, I'm not mad, of course, with the mask. It's just where I know it was feeling uncomfortable to me. Like, it's just what we know. Like, I already see some students are taking out their mask. They're feeling uncomfortable. It's just when we know what's happening through. Like, I know it's just like I think a bit with this whole problem of the pandemic. Because, good news, we had the vaccine. We see what's going to happen in 2021 is actually good right now. But it's just what we know. The pandemic, it's actually even much worse we have. Because I know, like, some of the people are not wearing a face mask and they don't listen to the law. I hate what they do like that. And I know we should wear a mask because it is according to the law. It is true. Like, I already wear my mask, like, every day or what since when I'm going outside of school. Not like the actual outside the hallway from school. When I had to go use the bathroom, or when I had to go to lunch. And that's where I had to like go there. And it's just where I had to think. Like everything we know, like the mask we already wear, it's just we had to already protect ourselves from this pandemic. It's just what we know. We were hoping to tell, we don't want to see what we won't going to do ever again. So we were wearing a mask. But it's just like I'm getting predictable when I'm taking this mask. But I having this problem like that. I'm still have to wear it on. And that's the important thing. Like, it's just what we don't understand. But anyways, enough of the mask thing. Let's talk about what's happening through, of course. Like, that's where the pandemic actually caused that when the studio is shutting down. So, the thing I know about it, it's just where I know when this pandemic has something like that. Because I see, like, there are some problems through with this. Like, those ratings are going down. They're losing a ton of money. And this is where we know it's just where the whole company's getting bankruptcy. It's getting bankrupt. It's just like the other side between with Vincent Studios and Pacific Data Images, and even of course with not only Toys R Us. Everything, it's like the other studios are shutting down. I see like what's going on through. Like I heard about what's happening. It seems like it's actually the future. It's finally knows that there's bad news. Because I kind of knew it. The acquisition of Disney is actually a bad idea. This is why I don't like the acquisition, how Disney owns Fox right now. Because I don't like how Blue Sky is getting shut down. But I know, like, there was this one tweet I heard. There was actually some guy, of course, who tweeted me that we had to put a petition on it. So you might understand. So I'm gonna have to show you this. So that guy who tweeted me on Twitter, his name is Jackson James Michael Gilmore. So he tweeted me about this that He tweeted me about this that I had to sign a petition. So the petition, it's just where we know that the company is finally ready to be revived for it. Because it's just where we know, like the company, we see that what's happening over there. Because the thing we heard about it, it's that it looks like the whole company is getting shut down. So if I didn't know, I have to read this article. So the article, you might have to see this, that you might understand what's happening. So I might have to read this article. So the article, you might have to see this. It's just, you're going to see what's happening. So here's something. So this is where I have to talk about this. So the reason why you might understand this article, it's just where I have to do this. So I might have to read this. So hold on. So let me get this article. Okay, so I got the article for it on Deadline. So one thing it says is that Disney is hold on, it's like God, it came right to my eyes. Okay, so I'm reading the article. So it says that Disney is shutting down Blue Sky Studios, the $4.9 billion global grossing former 20th Century Fox animation division that during its one churned out 13 feature films, including the Ice Age franchise. One can say that the writing was always on the wall for Blue Sky, especially after Disney acquired 20th Century Studios and is since then in March 2019. However, the past year has been challenging for Disney on many fronts, of course, due to the pandemic. Not just on the studio side, but also with theme park closures and cruises line clockings. Sorry, it's just getting too bright to my eyes. It's just this lamp. Anyways, so standing Adore feature animation studio was no longer available for Disney given the current economic realities caused by COVID. The last day for Blue Sky will be in April. The number of Blue Sky employees being impacted numbers 450. Disney will be working with the employees at the Greenwich CT-based studio to explore open positions at the other internal studios. So, what's it talking about that Blue Sky Studios is actually shutting down, 3 months. So, we're on February. So, next month, March, which is actually my 17th birthday. I'm turned 17 this year, because last year I was 16. But I'm still 16, but I'm turning 17 this year, of course, when March 19th starts. And also, my baby niece is actually having her first birthday, of course. Her birthday might start on March 23rd. That's actually her first birthday. It was right after on my birthday, my 17th birthday. She was born on March 23rd, 2020, right after when the pandemic started. And that's where, this is where she's ready to be turning 1 this year. So, her name's Journey. It's just somehow I know, because I have another kid, because, yeah, you might remember this one video I created on YouTube. You can check out, of course. So, I already had Justin, I had Journey. That's something you could think. And, I already have, of course, those are my sister's kids, because I'm actually an uncle, of course. So, anyways, so, this is where, February, March, and then what's happening, April. This is actually going to be the final month that this is where April might start off, that Blue Sky Studios is actually shutting down. So, this is where we know that it had impacted 450 employees, because they're all actually been laid off right now since the whole closure of the studio. So, it's just where we know that the problem is that we see, we know everything what's happening through. I see Disney inquires with it, and I see it's no longer going to be with that since the pandemic. And I know this pandemic, it's actually getting spreading even worse, and I know it's even a bad year what's happening through from Blue Sky. This is actually Blue Sky's one of their worst years. And this is where what's happening through that it's getting ready to be shutting down. And it's just where we know it's that the problem we have with Blue Sky is that this is where we know all the people who work on Blue Sky, they're actually going to be removed. They're all going to be fired. This is like how Katzenberg actually fired one of the employees since the pandemic. But it's where Quibi is shutting down. And part of the thing is what's happening that Katzenberg's trying to cheer one of his employees, because he's trying to cheer one of the employees with that song from Anna Kendrick, what's called Can't Get Back Up Again. Man, this is too hard on talk. Get Back Up Again by Anna Kendrick from the 2016 film DreamWorks Animation's Trolls. But it's just what I know about what's happening and why we have to talk about this. we had to think what's happening. So, the thing I know is that we see, like, how Blue Sky Studios was being a good company. But I know they keep having, like, a pattern between them. Ice Age. Original film. Ice Age. Original film. Ice Age. Original film. Ice Age. Original film. It's like a pattern between. Like, I know it's just like no Ant-Man was talking about it. So, sorry. Hit with that on the desk. So, I know what's going on through what Ant-Man's talking about it. So, it's a pattern. I know it's like, I see what's the problem is going through. So, sorry, I keep looking at the news. So, hold on. So, it's like a pattern between them. Like, I know what's happening through with them, that the pattern, what's happening is that, we see, like, everything that Ice Age is still going with it. And even like that, Blue Sky is still going with Ice Age. That's it. And we know it's what we have the problem. And Blue Sky, of course, it was getting tired by making these Ice Age sequels. But Fox, they don't stop it. They want Blue Sky to make more. And that's what we have with this problem. But at least we have one more Ice Age sequel we have is Collusion Course. And this is actually the series finale of Ice Age that Ice Age finally ended. So, everything it's over. But the thing I know what's happening is that Blue Sky is... It was a company. Because I know they have one of their good films I know is that they have with robots, they have Epic, they have with the Peanuts movie, they have Ferdinand. Everything, they have a lot of good films, and they got with the first Ice Age movie. So they have with Spice in Disguise, which is actually based on to the short Pigeon Impossible, and I know the Peanuts movie is based on to the comic strip, which is by Charles Schultz. And you guys didn't know that Ferdinand is actually based on to a book, because I heard about it. But while I was at middle school, I already met this English arts teacher. It's a Will Sorv, I think is his name. Who's actually the husband of Mrs. Willow, who's actually an art teacher. And Mr. Willow knows that he read the book when he was a kid, since he heard Ferdinand becomes a movie. And I know he wants to go see it, but he has to go watch it on DVD. That's something I think. And I know that it's actually having the Walt Disney short. And I know Walt Disney plays the mother, Ferdinand's mother. But the thing I know what Blue Sky was going on is that I heard that Blue Sky is talk about with one of their recent projects I know. Like I know they have with Ice Age, and I know Horn Hears a Who, and I know the Peanuts movie, Epic, Ferdinand, Spice in Disguise. Like everything what's going through. Everything. But the thing I know about what's happening through, it's that it's time to move on. Actually, it's just something I know. It's not that. I wasn't ready to do about it, but there was this one anime feature that I had to talk about it, of course, that's been released. It's actually was Spies in Disguise. And the thing I have to talk about Spies in Disguise, that this is actually Blue Sky Studios' final film that they released in 2019. And now, what's happened, of course, this is actually where Blue Sky Studios is actually shutting down. So, Spies in Disguise will be the final film that's released, of course. And then we know what's happening, that Blue Sky is happening with that. So, there's something you might know, why is it the last film? So, you might understand. So, originally, there was this other film. We have two films we have, is like... we have an Ice Age spin-off film, which is actually was The Adventures of Buckwild. And we have with this original film that's based on to the graphic novel or book series was called... What's it called? Nimoa, I think. So, Nimoa and Ice Age Adventures with Buckwild. So, Nimoa was actually going to be released on 2022, and the Ice Age spin-off film, The Adventures of Buckwild, is actually going to be released on the same year where Mignon is going to be released. Well, after when this film's going to be released. So, Mignon is actually going to be recent, of course. So Mean Noah is actually the first one going to be released on 2022, and then Ice Age: The Adventures of Buck Wild is going to be released on Disney Plus. But some of you might know what's happening. Sadly, these both projects, they're scrapped. And you're pretty sure the closure of Blue Sky Studios is actually, we know that it was scrapped. Because we thought that we know. It was like getting close to 2022. It was like almost there. But now it was actually scrapped at the closure. Because it's similar to what DreamWorks had that they canceled Larrikins. Since it was like almost there to 2018. Since it's actually scrapped at the acquisition with NBC Universal. So you might understand what's going through. So Mean Noah is now a cancel film, so you might understand why I had to see this. So I'm reading this article. So it was announced on June 2015. 20th Century Fox has acquired the rights of an animated feature film adaptation with Patrick Osborne to say as the director, and Mark Hams, who's actually writing the script, and it's going to be produced by Blue Sky Studios. On June 2017, Fox scheduled Mean Noah to be released on February 14, 2020. This is actually was right after. It was originally going to be released on 2020. It was originally going to be released on 2020 when we passed it. And then it was set to be released. Well, not released. It was set to be the first one to be conducted by those who work on Blue Sky Studios with a system that allows artists to find and track version and quality control their work. That's something that where they're doing that for their whole software. And May 2019, I heard Disney acquired Fox, and it's actually delayed on March 5th, 2021. This is actually where that film was going to be originally released on 2021. It should have been released. But sadly, it's now scrapped. But then, November 2019, the film was delayed on January 14, 2022. That was next year. And all over 2020, there was words that the film will be released in 2022. So, that's just something we know that it was going to be pushed in, of course, on 2022. I have to move the laptop over here. It's too bright. Okay, so, we know that we have like something that's going through, and this is where we know what's happening. So what happens, of course, Noel Stevenson stated in June 2020 that the film was still happening. It was still happening a lot since Blue Sky is still going. That's still going. It's everything is still going with it, and said that it will be released the same. Well, it says that the same in August 2020 podcast, which is actually still happening. That it's going to be released in August. The same thing with that with the podcast of 2020. Sorry, I keep looking at something what's going on through. Okay, so in August 2020, Dean of Geek reported that the anime film will be scheduled to be released on 2022. Because it's just like what the Bad Guys project was supposed to be released. But gathering no further details, the Deadline reported that it will be released the same in October. That's actually what we know. And now, here's something that's going to get where the film was scrapped. So, here's something that's going to get scrapped. So, here it goes. However, on February 2021, Deadlines reported that the film adaptation was canceled due to the shutdown of Blue Sky Studios. Following the announcement, Stevenson said that it was a sad day and that she wished the best for everyone who worked at Blue Sky Studios, while Osborne said he was truly heartbroken that the studio was closing its doors. When you say it again. Okay. When you say it one more time. Stevenson said it was a sad day and that she wishes the best for everyone who worked at Blue Sky Studios, while Osborne said he was truly heartbroken that the studio was closing its doors. So that's actually where we know Mark Stevenson. He was actually, no, not Mark Stevenson, Noel Stevenson. He reported that it's time to let it go. Like, he was depressing that the whole entire project was not going too well because the studio was shutting down. That's why it describes it. And what's going on, that web comics commentator Gary Tynewell criticized the decision, saying Disney could have allowed a very different kind of young heroine, mouth for those who would have found a vision of themselves in an anime version. And that's something we know. It's that it was going to be the film that was going to be released. Because the thing we have to talk about is that this is actually Blue Sky Studios' first film that's going to be showing a female protagonist since Epic. And I know it's talking about a heroine because I know about the book itself. So you might know what the book actually looks like. So we can just Google it and you will see what it looks. So if you can see some images, you might know what the book actually looks. So hold on a second. Okay. Alright. So this is actually what the book actually looks. So you can see how it looks like that. So, well, actually, you don't see it in the corn book, the other one. So that's actually my school corn book. Hold on, we can just pause it. We can just show you what it looks. So this is what the book actually what it used to be, what it looks like. So you see what it looks. It just shows the young daughter, and it shows the mother and the father, and the father's wearing armor, and her daughter has some very usual, like, dragon wings. Because it just seemed like what I know what that book was talking about with the feature film. Because it seems like they were requiring with the book. But the thing what we know about with the book, it's that it's just where I know it's sort of like that as a graphic novel. But when I know what's happening with Blue Sky, it was originally going to be like a reason 2022. But it was originally going to be the final film when Blue Sky Studios is shutting down. But sadly, it's actually too late. The whole project is actually scrapped. So, it's like something we know what's happening. And I know how Blue Sky is being a good company. But when I know what's happening, the whole animation studio is sadly getting bankrupt. Yeah, it is kind of been a bad year for it. A bad year, just like how 2020 does that before. A bad year, how 2019, 2018, and 2017 does that. This is becoming a very usual nightmare about what's happening. So yeah, we know it happened. Blue Sky Studios is shutting down. And we already know Nemo is canceled, and the Ice Age spin-off is actually canceled. So, let's just see what's going to happen until animation news what's going to happen in what sense. We'll see what's going to happen until there's good news what's happening. We're just hoping until the best thing that we'll see what's going to happen until there's good news for 2021. We're just hoping until the best thing that we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen until then. So that is it for our video for today. So, I finished the review of Soul. I finished with Bob when Caillou was getting canceled. I already finished with Blue Sky getting shut down. This is a bad start with this. So, I hope you guys already know. So, I have to take out my glasses. It's getting too bright onto my eyes. I have to move the light bar over here. So, at least this is actually we know. So, that's it for our video today. So, I'm already know, of course, of this. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, of course. So, make sure to click the and subscribe to my channel, like the video, and click the little bell, of course. And tell me guys in the comments you subscribe to my channel. If you did, I'll see you guys in the next video. And also, before I have to do the video, before I have to end the video, here's something, of course, a lot of people that you have to listen to the law. Wear a mask. I hope you can guys wear a mask for it. That's an important thing. So, see you guys. Happy Valentine's Day. See you YouTube fans. Happy Valentine's Day. Isn't too much of a speech. So, bye guys. Happy Valentine's Day.